So let's take a comfortable upright seat, just what's comfortable for you. Many of you know I have a large monitor that I look up at you on, and then I have this camera down here where you're seeing me. And it's just very joyful to wake up to see you coming to class. So thank you for being here. So we'll sit upright quietly for a few moments and really use this time to transition from the period you just came from, which is sleep, into this opportunity for reflection and rejuvenation. So you can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes if that helps you to be more concentrated. And we can begin with an initial period of really just observing. As I was saying in yesterday's restorative class, the water in nature, reflecting the sky, both welcomes what is passing overhead and also allows it to pass through. This water reflecting does not reach up to the sky to hold the cloud, the bird, the airplane. So it's both welcoming and surrendering. So present, but also not attached. These are concepts in yoga, of course. So see if you can just get a sense of where you are this morning in your capacity for this. Welcoming what is present. And in a kind of radical way, not being attached to it being different, and nor being attached to it moving on at a certain pace or hanging around if you're having a beneficial experience or an experience you're enjoying. So I'm asking you to both sort of lean into or welcome what is arising, what is present, and to remember that it's finite. It's ever unfolding. My early Dharma teachers would call it ephemeral. So when you're noticing in this way, start to now kind of pan your mind back into a wide angle view where you might sense the large awareness through which you're actually paying attention. So that which is rising and passing, that which is coming and going, it's held in a much larger space called your awareness or your capacity for love or grace. And then start to breathe into that sense, that space. So with your inhale, you can be a little bit more deliberate now and let the breath come upwards along the front line of your spine. Also, as I've been saying this week, let the breath expand concentrically outwards, including your upper back and your heart at the uppermost part of your inhale. And with your exhale, try to sense this sort of concentric return to toning your inner body from the pubic bone inward, upwards along the sacrum and your spine, up towards your heart. And do that for 3 breath cycles more. Just sensing how you can partner with the breath. This ever expanding concentric circle of awareness. And a kind of ever returning inner tone, moving towards intimacy with your inner self. You can bring your hands together at your heart. So may our practice this morning, as we widen our return to that larger awareness, may we then be able to look at what is arising for us and also in our society and our world. And may we practice discernment about where to put our focus so we can see the long-term needs, the short-term urgencies, and how the past is informing the now. May we not be distracted by the sort of smaller concerns, those things that actually are tempting as distractions. So we'll chant Asatoma Satgamaya together. Let's begin. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Please open your eyes. I'm going to scoot slightly back from my computer. We're going to begin with a little bit of Kriya, so Kapalabhati, to help clear the lungs and the sinuses and the nadis. So sitting upright, and I'm going to ask you to follow my pace so we don't speed up too much. At the top of the inhale that follows the long exhale, we're going to hold the breath. Then we'll exhale through both nostrils. Then we'll do it again. Inhale to hold. We'll exhale left nostril only. We'll inhale to hold, and we'll exhale right nostril only. Okay, so we'll begin with Kapalabhati through the nose. Exhale completely. Now inhale through the nose, hold the breath at the top. Exhale both nostrils, long and slow and steady. And inhale and hold the breath at the top. Exhale left nostril only. Inhale from the bottom to the top to hold. Exhale right nostril only. Sitting quietly for a moment. We're going to repeat that entire sequence. And try to sense when you cleanse the mind, Kapalabhati means skull shining, when your mind is more shiny, how much you practice that larger awareness that gives you the discernment to know where to place your attention right now in life, not just in your practice. And then we're going to practice that again. So following the Kapalabhati. Exhale completely, all the way to the end. And inhale to hold the breath. Exhale both nostrils. Inhale lower, middle, and upper to hold the breath. Exhale left nostril only. Inhale both nostrils. Exhale right nostril. And then let your attention rest. And try to sense if you were a body of water with a reflective capacity, how welcoming can you be to what is passing overhead, seen in the reflection. And also your capacity for surrendering that which passes through. And maybe not yield to the distractions, the habitual distractions of like daily life. Maybe stay focused on what our world is needing of us and what our inner practice is also asking of us. Let's come up to standing, please. When you come up to stand, go ahead and take a wide stance on your yoga mat in Prasarita Padottanasana. So this is a standing forward bend practice. So we're going to be using it to help further release the exhale. So for those of you for whom when you come into Prasarita, you aren't promptly flexible right away in the morning, it might be helpful to use your blocks. Otherwise, then on the inhale, lengthen your spine forward and aim to look forward slightly. So you're opening your upper back and your throat. And then exhale and press your palms down as you bring your torso towards your legs. Use the strength of your arms to tone the deep low belly. Then inhale and glide forward through your heart, kind of like cow pose. And exhale to deeply bow. Press your hands down and also slightly forward, as if you were going to push your yoga mat forward. Then inhale, glide your spine forward, raise up to your fingertips, open your heart, your throat, and your eyes. And exhale to deeply bow. Exhale through the nose, but watch the tone you can make inwardly in your deep low belly. One more time. Now inhale and glide forward. Come up high to your fingertips. Take only your right hand forward. And then exhale to bow towards your legs. And I'm going to ask you to press your left palm down and forward as you pull back with your right hip. Keep your right fingers as if they were Velcroed to the floor or your yoga mat. So when your left hand presses down and forward, you are making a little cross action in the low belly, kind of like a diagonal action. So see if you can sense the tone from your left upper belly to your right lower belly. As you draw your right hip back, lengthen the right side of your waist. And then inhale, rise up to your left fingertips, bring the right fingertips back in line. And change sides, take the left hand well forward. As you bow towards the floor, press your right palm firmly down and slightly forward. And notice the tone, if it's possible, from your right upper belly to your left lower belly. As you breathe in, try to sense the length of the left side of your torso. Draw your left hip slightly back. So if you imagine your left fingers are Velcroed to the floor, as you're pulling back, you have to keep the rootedness of each fingerprint and also your left thumb. Press your right palm down and forward once more. And then inhale, rise up to your fingertips, make them equal again. And now exhale, place your hands between your feet so it's foot, hand, foot, and bow deeply towards your legs. If you're not super flexible first thing in the morning, only do your best. And then inhale, keep your fingertips where they are, glide forward. So now your hands are behind your shoulders, right? They're further back than your shoulders are. Lengthen the crown of your skull. And then exhale and bow towards your legs. So you again have foot, hand, foot. Inhale, glide forward. Raise forward through the crown of your skull. And then exhale, and as you bow towards your legs, don't rush your face towards the place between your legs or elbows. Really try to use the strength of your arms and your abdomen. And then once more, inhale, glide forward. Last one. Now place both hands at the top of your yoga mat and step backwards to downward facing dog pose. You may have to turn sideways if you were on the long side of your mat. Now turn so your hands are at the short side of your mat and feet are at the back of your mat. So in your downward dog pose, your hands are symmetrical and both hands can press down and forward. Welcome the breath to come upwards to your pelvis, the deep low belly, the back of your sacrum, the back of your waist, if possible, the back of your heart. And then keeping both arms really steady on your exhale, just start to lightly touch your knees down towards the floor without going all the way. And then inhale, raise your hips high, keeping your arms steady. And exhale, without going forward, touch your knees lightly down towards the floor, perhaps not touching, perhaps touching all the way. And then raise your hips high again, keeping your arms steady. So from your hands to your shoulders to your heart, you are steady. Exhale the knees lightly down. And inhale to straighten and strengthen your legs. And one more time, exhale your knees lightly down towards the floor. And then inhale to strengthen and straighten your legs any amount. Now, using straight arms, walk your hands little bits at a time backwards. So you're going to be walking towards Uttanasana, but really the thing is, each time you push down with one arm, try to sense the movement between your shoulder blades to do that. So don't just think, can I get back to my destination, but how are you walking backwards toward your destination? And then walk forward, small hand steps at a time with straight elbows. And you're going to walk forward to downward dog pose and try to make this movement in your upper back, almost like a tiger, as I like to say, in the jungle, walking forward, and then one more time, walking back. So you're pressing down and pushing back one hand at a time, moving backwards and finally into your Uttanasana. Shift your hands to your hips and rise up to standing. So I know you're at the back of your mat. Please come forward for Surya Namaskar. So that is intended to have the upper back get a little bit of movement, a little bit of articulation, and we're going to be playing with it again. So come up to standing, please. And join your hands together at your heart. When you come to mountain pose, just notice once more, here you are. What is this capacity you have in your awareness right now? Like the reflectivity of the water to the sky and all that passes through the sky. Now using your Ujjayi breath, please inhale your hands down, wide and up. Exhale to chair pose. Inhale in chair pose. Okay, now exhale and tip down. Place your hands on your blocks. Uttanasana, slowly straighten your legs. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, chair pose, straight away. Inhale, in chair pose. Okay, exhale, tip down, Uttanasana, press into your palms. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Sweep your arms wide, lift up. Once more, exhale, straight away, chair pose. So chair pose is intended to help us complete the exhale because we're sitting down. When you inhale, reach up to your fingers and thumbs. And then use Uttanasana to help you also complete your exhale. And then your inhale responds, first third, middle third, upward third. And now hands to your heart. Let's add to that sequence. So inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, first third of the breath, middle and then upper. Okay, chair pose. Using chair pose to help you complete your exhale, you want to sense like you're closing an accordion. Inhale across the back of your waist. And then exhale, use Uttanasana to help you complete your exhale breath. Inhale, glide your heart forward, open the back parachute of your body. Exhale, left toes straight back, and use the stepping back and the connection of your chest to your thigh to help complete your exhalation. Then inhale, first third of the pelvis, middle third of the torso, upper third of the breath. And exhale, use this airplane pose to help you complete the exhalation. Don't rest on your right thigh, but you can touch it. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, airplane pose. Keep your right outer hip steady, your right outer heel grounded. Inhale, rise up. Of course, at your own pace. You're doing very well. Exhale, airplane pose. Good. Last one, inhale, rise up. And then exhale, when we bow forward, this time let's use airplane pose and then lightly touch the two blocks. Inhale, step forward, bring your heart forward. And exhale, take your right toes back, using the base of this pose to help complete your exhale. Let your inhale respond now. First third, middle third, upper third. Beautiful. Exhale your airplane pose. You can think of your body like a musical instrument. You're inhaling to fill the bellows right now. And then we exhale, we close the bellows of this instrument, like a harmonium or an accordion. Follow your own breath pace. Airplane pose. Last one, inhale to rise. And then airplane pose. This time when you come forward, you're going to lightly place those two blocks to the sides of your mat. Please step backwards to downward dog pose. And inhale, glide forward to plank pose, gaze down between your thumbs. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin pose. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, cobra. Okay, last time, exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, plank. And then exhale to your downward facing dog pose. And think of downward dog as a chance to complete the exhalation. And then notice how your next inhale wants to respond. How does the in-breath want to come in to care for you? Now keeping your elbows steady, walk in small steps, small hand steps backwards. Make each push with the arm so the other arm is momentarily not weight bearing. When you're walking back, it says walking back to Uttanasana, but very temporarily, because we're going to walk forward. And when you walk forward, try to pick up your tiger paw as if you are in the jungle. Exaggerate the movement in your upper back so you have a chance to really articulate between your shoulder blades. And when you arrive back in your dog pose, you can smile like the smile of a happy tiger in the jungle. And let's exhale, step your awkward foot forward first, please. Then step the other foot forward, return to Uttanasana. And inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to your heart. Anjali Mudra, excuse me. So what is happening when you come to some stillness? Okay, so that movement in the upper back that we were just exploring, we're going to take that into Parsvottanasana and towards Parvita Trikonasana. It's okay if you don't know your Sanskrit. Please don't worry about it. And I'm going to show you first head on, and then I'll take the profile view so you can see them both. So let's put your right foot forward, left foot back like this, please. And I do have two blocks here. I'm going to recommend that you put one block on the flat setting and one block on the tall setting like this. So it's going to be asymmetrical. Yeah. Bring your hands to your hips. Just to check your hips are squared forward. Root your tailbone down and lift your pubic bone up. So you might already have some sensation at the front of your left hip flexors. You lift up through your heart. Now keeping the tailbone down, squeeze the left butt so it's a part of your stabilizing support system. And go upward through the heart, roll your shoulders back, almost like knees, chest, and chin a few moments ago, how the chest and heart had to work together. And then with your exhale, pour your torso forward. And as you come down, lengthen, lengthen. Place your two palms on the uneven surfaces of a tall block and a short block. And press firmly down with both hands. Okay, so we're going to now put in cat spine and cow spine. So when you inhale, bring your spine towards cat pose, gaze in towards your belly. When you exhale, glide your heart forward like you would in cow pose. Yes, your body's asymmetrical here. This might feel awkward. Let's do that again. Inhale, press down, come into cat pose spine. And exhale, glide your heart forward, cow pose spine. Okay, inhale, cat pose spine. And one more time, exhale, cow pose spine. Now this time when you press into cat pose, please press firmly enough with your right arm that you float your left hand off of its block. And then come down to your left palm. Come down to your left palm, cow pose. Try that again now. Inhale, cat pose. Press into your right arm strongly enough that your left arm floats off of its block. And exhale, cow pose spine. Place your left palm firmly on your block. One more time. Inhale, press into your right arm. Float your left arm like it dangles, as if it were the elephant trunk, also in the jungle. And then last one for cow pose. Shift your hands to your hips and rise up to standing. Let's change sides. So you're going to change the blocks. This one will be flat. This one will be tall. Step your left foot forward, right foot back. I will show you the profile view when we go to Parvita Trikonasana, but I think for now you can see well enough from the forward view. Okay, hands to your hips. Press down, so you're pressing your pelvis down. Root your tailbone down. Tone your right butt. It's a part of your balance system. And raise up into a little back bend. Roll your shoulders back. Raise your collarbones up. And then keeping your right butt toned, left leg strong, come forward, pour yourself out over your left leg, and we'll take the two hands to the asymmetrical blocks. Now, one side might feel more awkward for you than the other, just depending on the structure of your spine and also your hips and shoulders. So let's inhale to cat and see what that's like. And exhale to cow pose. Inhale to cat pose. Exhale to cow pose. Keep both arms strong, so you're really asking the spine to undulate with the breath. You're not bending your elbows to make up for some stiffness in the spine somewhere. One more time to cow pose, and then we're going to start doing that sort of asymmetrical one-arm version here. So when you next inhale, come into your cat pose. Press down with your left arm so your right arm just dangles from the block. And then exhale, return it to cow pose. Inhale to cat. Exhale to cow pose. Place your right palm back on the block. Inhale to cat pose. Let the right arm float or hover up from the block. And then exhale to cow pose. Bring your spine to neutral. Shift your hands to your hips and rise up to standing. Okay, step the feet together and let's change the two blocks. And now I'll give you the profile view so that you can see. So we're going to do right foot forward and left foot back. So let's put the shorter block on the inside of your right ankle, please. And the taller block, on the outside of your right ankle. And the distance from your right foot to your left is like Parvita Trikonasana. Okay, so I have to live with my hair, and so do you. It's just getting in my way from seeing you guys. So in this position, when you press down into both hands, now start to notice any bit of twist you can make in your upper back to your right. And try to sense that twist coming not just from the right arm pressing down, but the strength of your left arm and your left palm also pressing down. Root your tailbone, energize both legs, and start to float your right hand up off the block, putting more responsibility into your left arm. Left arm, left shoulder. Begin noticing your right belly. Without the left hip dropping forward, notice the left outer rib cage. And start floating your right arm out to the side and just go about parallel to the floor. Notice how much is needed from your body right now to just articulate this. We're sort of partway to Parvita Trikonasana. And then begin rotating through your solar plexus, your heart, your shoulder blades, your collarbones, your eyes. And keeping the pose strong where it needs to be strong and spacious where it can be spacious. We're going to exhale and slowly come down, but without losing the integrity of the actions you put together there. Return your right hand to its block. And then take the block under your left hand, make it medium. The block under the right hand can also be medium. And step backwards into a dog pose to see, okay, what's happening now as you reach back. Notice the asymmetries in where your body might be warmer, more energized, more alert. And then bring your left foot forward between the blocks. Shorten the stride slightly because Parvita Trikonasana is a shorter stride than you use for your crescent lunge. Put the block under your left hand tall. The block under your right hand can be low. And we'll just start again with this asymmetrical pressure down through both arms. Stabilize both legs. Come into the strength of your breath here. And as you press into your right arm, make that very firm. So your left arm just starts to get lighter, a little bit lighter. When you energize your right arm, please keep your right hip back so it's not going to fall forward towards your right hand. And notice as you turn now your rib cage. And float your left arm just out horizontal to the floor. What is needed right here? And how will you continue the turn? So left big toe, left outer heel, left outer hip. Right hand, right arm, right shoulder, right outer hip, right heel. And you turn to say good morning to the sky to your left, or the open space to your left. And then slowly let this come back down without losing the integrity of all the actions you put into place there. Make the block under your left hand medium, right hand also medium, and step backwards once more to downward dog pose. And notice where you've brought some energy into your system. And roll forward and touch your knees down. Take one block to sit on in Vajrasana. And rest your hands in your lap, noticing there was certain amounts of activation required. And so you get to watch how activation moves into reflection. Imagine the water all around you becoming really clear and very reflective. Watch that again. So the ripples on the water are fading, and you can sense some inner clarity that might come. And like the water allows whatever passes overhead, it also allows it to continue moving on. Notice it once more. Now we're going to go to the twist called Anjaneyasana, and it might help for some of you to have padding for your knees. I do have a double yoga mat here, so let's put the right foot forward and left knee back. And take this block on the tall setting, this one on the flat setting. So when you have your left knee back behind you, it is okay to let the hips come forward. It's Anjaneyasana, so your back knee is quite a bit further back, so your left hip's going to be in extension, is what we call it. Yeah, there you go. And it's up to you if you want to point the toes on your back foot or tuck them under. And probably it's up to your kneecap and your foot and your balance. Okay, so let's do right hand firmly on its block. For now, the left palm firmly on its block. And press into both blocks and just check and see. Your back is asymmetrical here already. If you come into a cat pose, fine. And if you really do the cat pose fine with your tailbone down and forward, you're likely to feel your left hip flexors. So notice also that cat pose here momentarily lets you lift the low belly kind of inward and upwards off of your right thigh. And let's use that now to swoosh your belly to the right, hook your left elbow over your right knee, and bring your palms together in Anjali Mudra. Press your left elbow down, and the left elbow and right knee can also press against each other. So it should not be that your left elbow can kind of scoot your right knee to center. The right knee stays in line with your third toe. But when you press the left elbow down, you're going to be able to find a little bit of that cat pose spine in your lower belly and lower back. And use your cow pose spine in your heart for your twist, in your upper back and heart. The breath you have within you and the intention, concentration, and focus, this all comes together. We call it yoga. Keep your left elbow firmly pressing down. One more breath into the back of your body. And then exhale and return your left palm to its flat block, your right palm to its tall block. Find your cat pose once more. Okay, straighten your left leg behind you. Make the block under your right hand medium and step backwards to an asymmetrical dog pose. So your right hand is higher than your left hand. And then roll forward, touch your knees to the floor, and change the two blocks. Left foot forward, please. Okay, so when you come forward again, let your hips glide forward. I'm seeing you in my mirror because my monitor is large and I can see it there too. Yeah, so you want the hips to come forward and the right hip flexors might be saying, hello, good morning. Yeah. Place your left palm on the tall block, right palm on the small block, and come into your cat pose spine. And really be deliberate that your tailbone does come down and forward. So you're not trying to hang on to your left hip socket or hang from your left hip socket. Yes, the left hip socket is closed, pretty much closed. It's in flexion, but it shouldn't feel like it's being compressed. To support that, you do press into both arms, and that lifts the low belly and lets you resist sort of over closing your left hip joint. So keeping that cat pose concept inside, now take your left hand to your left thigh, hook your right elbow over your left knee. And as you hook, then bring your palms together in Anjali Mudra and press your right elbow down against your left knee. And from your left knee, press down into your left heel. So that line should feel really strong as you twist to your left. So think of your cat pose spine in your low belly and your cow pose spine in your upper back. And breathing in. Okay, now when you exhale, return your left hand to the tall block, right hand to the small block, find your cat pose. Make the left block medium. And as you straighten the right leg, then step backwards to an asymmetrical downward dog pose. And then roll your spine forward. Please touch your knees down. Put your blocks aside. Okay, let's see now. What is knees, chest, and chin, which is also called inchworm pose. How is inchworm and cobra, how are they going to communicate now? So lie on your stomach. Come down with your palms underneath your shoulders. It's okay to smile a little bit. I know that some of you this is not your most fond thing. So what we're doing is, here you are ready for cobra pose. Now the tops of your feet, the tops of your knees, and your hands, they stay where they are in the sequence. When you inhale, glide your heart forward and up to cobra. So in cobra pose, we've exercised the thoracic spine for twisting and the shoulders and so on. Roll your shoulders back, widen your collarbones, lift through your inner body. So this cobra pose action with your shoulders, your chest, and your heart is also consistent when we go to inchworm pose. Let's inhale. And then exhale, pick up your hips, bow your heart between your thumbs. It's called inchworm or knees, chest, and chin. Then inhale, hips down, heart forward. Okay, exhale. Inhale, hips down and forward, heart forward and up. exhale, like a little prostration. Last one. And exhale. Now press up to table. Take one block and go back to child's pose. And let me say, for those of you who have not been to India, specifically to Bodh Gaya in India, Bodh Gaya is where the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree. And so surrounding that tree has been, a big temple has been built. And monks have their little spots there around the temple to do their prostrations, like what you're just doing right here. And these prostrations are harder than what you're doing. And they happen on these boards that slide. You only have a yoga mat right now, but they have this board that they slide their hands out, they do their prostration, they slide back, they slide their hands to their feet, they rise up to standing, they come down, they slide the hands forward, they prostrate, and they slide back. And you're just doing some small parts of that this morning. What you could picture when you're in child's pose, that there are practices on the planet where people give that kind of prostration or gratitude, appreciation, humility. You walk your hands back towards your knees. Now let me give you a sense of what I'm talking about. We'll just try it once. We don't have slidey boards. And by the way, they didn't start with slidey boards. The reason they have this, I'm calling them slidey boards. The reason they have the slidey board is that there are so many monks that you get one spot. I guess that person owns their spot for as long as they happen to be dedicated there. And they have to slide out and slide back because they can't slide forward, stand up, slide forward, stand up, slide forward, because they'd run into the next person. So they're all surrounding the temple right there. So if you come up to standing at the back of your mat where we were earlier, okay, so this is about where they start for their prostration. They're saying their prayers. They're giving it like we are, saying with the body, what are these prayers? Okay, so hands to the heart. And you go like this. Inhale, raise your arms. Then exhale, let's come down to Uttanasana. Now we don't have a slidey board, so we're gonna walk forward like a tiger in the jungle. Walk forward to plank pose. Okay, now knees, chest, and chin. Now cobra. Now bring your heart down, stretch your arms forward. Cobra. Okay, knees, chest, and chin. Plank. Now we would slide backwards on the slidey board, but we're going to walk backwards like the tiger in the jungle. And then we'll rise up. Well, let's do it one more time. Hands to the heart. Okay, hands up overhead. And bowing forward, this is your morning prostration. Okay, walking forward like a tiger in the jungle. Walking. Imagine that you had to slide. You'd be wearing something like pot holders under your hands. Come to plank pose. I hope you're smiling at this. Okay, knees, chest, and chin. Cobra. Now really important, bring your heart down, stretch your arms forward, bow your forehead to the floor. Cobra. Okay, knees, chest, and chin. Plank. And then walking back. And imagine you had to slide back, you'd have tremendous abdominal strength. And then rise up. And hands to the heart. Now you can imagine just how buff the monks are. Their arms, their abs, they are very strong. And then they sit in meditation and they're also strong in the mind. So that's a bit of what happens in a prostration. And again, we don't have a slidey board, but you have an idea where we were Let's take the 2 blocks, please, for a small finishing sequence before we come to Shavasana. So with your 2 blocks, we're going to lie down and do supported bridge pose. And my intention here is to have you go from that exertion into the sense that you're being breathed. So please lie down. You have your 2 blocks. They're going to go under the back of your pelvis. One on top of the other. And of course, you can use just 1 block if that's your preference. So when you come to supported bridge pose, think of it like you now have the luxury of support. Can you tuck the shoulder blades and the shoulders under? Turn your palms face up. Bring your gaze down towards your heart. Let the activation of the prostrations and the twisting poses, let that activation start to become more still and more reflective again. Imagine the pelvis like a basin filled with water that is reflective. Keeping your left foot planted, bring your right knee up towards the ceiling. If your hamstrings allow for this with ease, take your right foot up towards the ceiling. If raising your right leg means that you have a lot of tension on your right hip flexors, or you're working really hard in the abdomen, or you raised your right heel up and your chest sunk down, then go back to having your right knee bent. You could try maybe half bent like this, 90 degrees. But if your hamstrings aren't an issue, take your right leg up. Keeping your shoulders grounded, bring your left knee up. And again, same idea related to your hamstrings. You could choose to take both legs up. So this is now supported shoulder stand. And you can also do it with the knees bent at 90. Most of all, I do want you to keep your pelvis stable. So if the low belly were that reflective body of water, I'd like you to keep the chest and heart open and your shoulders grounded. The throat is temporarily more closed, not more open. And your gaze can be in towards your heart. Now please bend both knees if your legs have been up straight. Take your right toes down first. Left toes down. Lift your hips and put 1 block aside. Take the other block for your sacrum and bring both knees to your chest. So I'd like the edge of this block for the sacrum to be at the top of your sacrum. So when your knees come towards your chest, you can sense that from the sacrum down into the lower back and lower belly, there is this gentle sort of cascade like a waterfall. with your knees coming towards your shoulders. And keep the eyes closed. And try to sense how your body it's recalibrating, moving towards resting and integrating. Place your hands behind your hamstrings and your knees. We did this yesterday or the day before, so what you're going to do is when you're on the floor here, you're inhaling, and then you exhale, curl your torso up towards your knees. Inhale to roll your upper back down and to place your head again. And then exhale to sigh through the body, soften all 5 senses. Inhale while you're here. Exhale, curl your head and shoulders up. Inhale, roll down. Exhale to sigh. Do that one more time. So inhale, full inhale, slow inhale. Exhale, curl up. Inhale to roll down. And exhale to sigh. And then keeping your block where it is, just return your toes gently to the floor. Then put the block aside and stretch out for Shavasana. In Shavasana, let yourself become very still. So you already know that physically you have done some kind of like inner architecture. And then energetically and with prana, with the breath, you have also opened pathways and systems. So now I want you to completely rest your physical body and rest the mental habit part of your mind. Imagine the inner intelligence of your body really just taking care. And the water of your mind becoming more and more reflective. The world is asking of us how we can participate. We must have this more reflective mind if we're going to know what is our task, what is our summons. So let your body and your mind, your mental habit mind, become very still. Invite all four limbs from your heels to your hips, from your fingers to your shoulders. Invite all 4 limbs to be really heavy with relaxation. As your limbs become heavier, Allow your torso to be physically grounded, but the interior, like the central channel, the river, the water becomes clear, reflective. And keep quietly observing, witnessing what is occurring. The heaviness of the body, and the reflectivity of awareness. Just for one more minute, allow there to be this deep release. The physical body, mental habit, mind, they can get very heavy with relaxation. The central channel, the inner river of awareness, be very reflective. And you may just lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. And try to sense that even some simple movement with your body does not need to cause awareness to dissipate or to disappear. Please bend one knee at a time. You can roll to your side and press yourself back up to sitting. And come up to have a sense then of when you're in this vertical plane, how your awareness comes with you. When you sit in awareness, then you can also ask, let it be a felt opening in the question, what is being summoned for you today? When you look out at the dilemmas in our world, and how will you manifest what's being summoned? How will you take action? And bring your hands together at your heart. Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti Om. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. May your prostration arms feel delighted for the rest of the day. And tonight and tomorrow morning when you wash your own hair, maybe that was like, oh, look, my muscles, I used them. I'm going to come up and say hi to you. Let's see how you are. Okay, I'll put that back. I'm smiling with delight to see you.